Hello and welcome back here to another Minecraft Let's Play with Unstoppable Sniper Gamer. Now today is gonna be about maps. Now I've only recently started doing videos about maps. Now first of all, for those that do not know, for the ones with PS4, Xbox One, probably PC, things like that, but right now we're pretty much talking about consoles because that's what I got. That's what I'm telling you about, okay? I'm telling you about consoles, okay? Nobody needs to know about PCs. PCs are much more advanced right now. Okay, so right now I'm going to tell you how to map your whole world, how many maps are in each world size, and just talk a little bit about them. Now, right now, for those, I don't have, if you go, okay, so take a map. If you map the whole thing, and it's not a classic world, it's small, medium, large, if you go to the end, you'll notice your little player dot turns to a circle. That is because you went off the map. So what you're going to do is you're going to take another map, which it can be a little difficult in survival because you have to craft them. Hopefully you have the materials you need, but when you go to the end of the world and open a new one, it is going to open that one. Now, I do not know about survival. You may have to craft it in that part, or you may open it in that part. I just know in creative, you do that. Now, this is very much possible to do in survival. It is just going to be a little tricky due to the fact of the land is always going to be uneven. And depending on the world size, it depends on how long it's going to take you, because it takes long enough in creative just to fly around the world in map 1. So imagine being in survival, it's going to be a little tricky. Now, the thing is for a large world, there is 25 maps. It is a 5x5 square. For medium maps, it is a 3x3, which is a total of 9 maps. The large has a total of 25 maps. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that a small world is most likely 4 maps, because it seems like it just adds a layer with each size. So that is just going to be my guess. So a classic is 1 map, a small is most likely 4, a medium is 9, and a large is 25. So when you map 1, you're going to go to the edge of the world and open another map to get that part. If you do not open it in the part you want it to do, it is not going to show. Now, say if you just mapped the whole world, but you don't have enough for another map, and you want to go off to another part of the map that is not mapped, and you do not have another map for it, if that makes any sense. Sorry, probably just confused everybody watching. Now, the thing about that is you can't use a map for that. For example, if we were to go off right now, if we were to go off this map and it goes to the circle, you're not going to be able to see anything else, no land or anything. You're not going to be able to map it or anything like that. So just beware. Don't expect it to automatically go to another map when you open it, because I do believe you actually have to at least open that map. And even though, say even if it's in your inventory and you're not using it, or you left it back home at a chest, one cool little thing about maps for that is that problem is now fixed. So if you do not have the map on you and you go to a part of the world, say if you've already opened the map and you stuck it somewhere and you forgot it and left it behind, when you go to the part of that map and you explore a new area, it will actually automatically add it to the map, whether it's in your inventory or not, which I gotta say is kind of a cool little thing, because used to you had to have it in your inventory and you had to have it in your hand. And to be honest, that is a little frustrating, considering you can't really look where you're going, because the map, if you just happen to look down, it does make it pretty hard to see what's ahead of you, so you could easily fall into a cave, a hole, lava, an ocean. You never know. Now, this is actually a cool little spot right here, because with all that water right there, there's actually a possibility of an ocean monument, which I doubt. But just know, bigger the world, bigger the chance of having a ocean monument, temples, villages, big villages, dungeons, things like that. Now, I can't tell you whether or not there's multiple end portals, depending on the size. That is something I do not know. Cool. Now, I find the fastest way to do the map is just to go into creative or activate flying and use some swiftness potions, and it pretty much helps you get going pretty fast and get the maps out of the way, especially if you're doing large, which I'm actually in a large world right now. I'm just trying to knock out the 9x9. In a second, I'll stop and show you how the map wall works. It's actually not very hard. For those that don't know, you'll be like, oh, why didn't I ever think of that? I'm gonna be honest, I never thought of that either. Because normally, for those that are playing PS3, Xbox 360 and stuff, unfortunately you cannot do the extended map that I know of. Right now, I do believe it's only for like Xbox One and PS4 and anything of the new stuff that you can actually expand worlds past classic. I don't know why that is. It's probably because they're trying to force you into getting the new consoles to actually get the new stuff. Now, as you see in my inventory, I am trying to keep them in order, and that is because when you do the map wall, you want to have them in order. If you not have them in order, it's going to be pretty tricky to know which ones go where, and it's going to be like a puzzle. Which you can actually make that into like a little mini game for you and your friends. You sit there and you and your friends map out the world, and you mix up the maps or something and make it into a little game of like a puzzle or something. You gotta figure out which map goes where to complete the wall map or something. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of creative people out there that will find some sort of game to make of maps. Now, I do know I am doing this a little bit after the fact it's come out, but there's still a little bit of y'all that do not quite understand how it works, and I figured I'd just go ahead and do a video on it just to help out anyone that needs it. Now, if you see, this is the bottom of the 3x3. This is the way we're headed. If you look this way, that's going to be the other one. So, large is 5x5, medium is 3x3, which is 9 maps, 25 maps for large. I'm just going to go ahead and assume, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm going to guess a small map is a 2x2, which is 4, considering classical is 1, and medium is 9. I'm thinking it's just going to add like a little layer of the maps, so I'm going to go ahead and guess it's probably just going to be 4. And that'd be probably the only logical thing, but heaven forbid I'm wrong. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments. Also, if you are new to my videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the like button, and I appreciate it very much. It helps out the channel a lot. Okay, so as you can see, even in creative, it is going to take a little while to do the mapping, so only do what you think you can handle or you want to do. So if you want a simple and easy, do a small. If you want to have a big one to look cool and stuff and have a better chance of other stuff, but you don't want to sit there and map a 5x5, then do a medium. And if you like to play it hard, then do the large, because at least then you'll have a bigger chance of getting stuff. Because I think I've seen witches, 1 or 2 witches huts, 3 to 5 desert temples and loads of villages. Some villages are even big, which I'm sure are large of the world. Let's say, like, if you're doing creative or something, make sure, like, if you want to have like a lot of dogs or something, like if you want to make like a supposedly dog army or something, just know if you do a large world, it's going to be harder to get a lot because the limit of dogs is only so much. And when you have a bigger world, they're going to spawn a whole lot more often. And when more spawn, the limit decreases, which means you're not, even if you have the egg from creative, you're not going to be able to spawn them. So just keep in mind the limits of breeding, the limits of spawning, things like that will decrease. And if you have a mob farm or something, just know it may not work very great if you're in a larger world, because that means there's going to be a lot more caves, which means there's going to be a lot more darker spaces for them to spawn, so they'll have plenty more spawn. The limit will be reached quicker, which means it will most likely take a little longer. Even though I know most mob farms are grinding and killing and everything, it can still take a little bit longer to spawn in, so just keep that in mind. And right after we're about to complete this map, and when we do, I will show you how the wall map works, and pretty much the decoration for the wall map is all up to you, because it's whether or not it's something you're gonna want or how you're gonna put it and stuff. I'm not gonna really give any ideas to decorating it, because you should use your own creativity and come up with something really cool that nobody else has thought of. That way it's unique, cool, not really thought of before, and if it is thought of, the chances of it actually being someone you know is probably slim. So we have one more line to do, and then this map will be complete. This is taking me about, let's see, what time is it? It is, I mean, it doesn't, it's not just going to take you 10 minutes to do 9 maps. I can tell you that right now, and that's probably a no-brainer. You can probably figure that one out real quick. And that is because of the fact of the maps are pretty big, and think how long it's taken us to do just one map. Okay, so as you see, we'll look this direction just so I know which way I need to go afterwards. But see, I've gotten like I'm trying to make the square in, and I'm not really sure how I'll do the 5x5 when that comes time, but that's just one of those things. So what you want to do is, just say you have like a wall or something, you're going to want to have item frames. Now, just know when you do this, it's going to take the maps out of your inventory, but if you make new maps and open them up in the different areas, it will auto-complete the map if you've already explored the whole thing. So I'll just waste this map just to show you. It's an empty map, you open it, it's going to be automatically completed due to the fact of, yeah, let's get that garbage out of here. Now, the biggest map you can have is going to be, let's see, this is going to be the size of a large map on a wall if you decide to do it. This is how much room a large map is going to take up, which, if you ask me, is pretty crazy, but it's going to be pretty cool too, because not everybody can say, oh, I completed a large map and it's on my wall, you want to go see it? And plus, it's just cool to see the world you're in, because oftenly you don't really know about everything around you. You haven't really explored everything, and to be honest, it's kind of cool to have it's kind of like your own little globe or something. So, and plus it just gives you a perspective of just how big your worlds are. Because if you look, this isn't even all the maps for a medium world. So add one right there to that, and that will be a complete medium world. So that just gives you perspective of how big it is. Now imagine that with 16 more maps. That is how big a large world will be. I can bet you will get lost pretty easily there. And it's gotta be pretty insane. Why does it... Wait, what? That it looks like it matches up, but it just doesn't look like it does. Hang on. I'll go ahead and tell you why. I think I have those right there switched. Okay, that matches up there, so now I gotta figure out which one I got switched. Hang on. See, this is one problem you can have, is this is why it would actually be kind of like a puzzle to do. Because you have to figure out which one goes where, because one simple mistake could lead to getting them all confused and switched up, and then you never know what's gonna go where. Wait, what? That's that map, but it's turned the wrong way. What? Okay, so as you see, it can be a little bit of a problem. I think that looks like, well, no, that's not right. So if you ever get confused, you can sit them in there and spin them around until you get one that looks like it matches up. Which, that one, that is the one that matches up. So put that one here. Let's see if I can find the one that matches that one. So it's kind of like a guessing game pretty much. Okay, so this one will be here. That is one bad thing about this, is if you get it mixed up, it can be pretty tricky to find the correct ones, or the ones you're missing. So just know that and be careful. I mean, see, look, that is the problem though. See, that looks like it goes together so well, but if you look, some things just don't line up. So that is one thing you do have to be careful with, because yeah, it can be a little bit of a frustration if you mess up and get them switched, which I'm gonna have to fix that after. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I hope this helped you out. Go ahead and give us a like, and I'll see you later.